I will call to order the Enfield Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Agency for Tuesday, September 19th, 2023. Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fire evacuation procedures. You can either go out the back doors there and away from the building, or you can go out these doors, take a left down the stairs, and out the building and away from the building that way. Roll call.
Donna Corbin-Sabinsky, absent. Kevin Zorda.
Here.
Virginia Higley, here. Robert Hendrickson.
Here.
Ann Collins.
Here.
Nancy Martin.
Here.
Phil Kober.
Here.
Chris Renard is absent.
Thank you. I will ask for any public communication for anything not on the agenda from the audience. Again, any correspondence or public communication regarding anything not on the agenda? And one last time, anything not on the agenda? Thank you. Move on to approval of minutes for September 5th, 2023.
So moved.
Agent correspondent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, agent correspondence, anything on my left?
Nope.
Sorry, anything on my right? Thank you, I checked off too soon. All right, approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All right, any discussion? I have a couple of quick things. Under number 6, it's just a quick typo. It says Commission Zorda, should be Commissioner Zorda. And then for number 12 says enforcement reports. Ms. Driver said the reason there is no update from the zoning enforcement officer is because he has not received a response from the people at DEP regarding Yankee castings. I think wasn't it said that there was no update because he was out on medical leave, and specifically for Yankee castings because they have not gotten back?
No, that's correct. He didn't receive a response yet from DEEP, and then ironically the next day he did.
Okay. Thank you. All right, I have a second, motion and a second. Any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes, as amended.
Virginia Higley as amended, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes, as amended.
Ann Collins.
Yes, as amended.
Nancy Martin.
Yes, as amended.
Phil Kober.
Yes, as amended.
All right, passes unanimously. All right, town attorney report. I don't think we had a new one this
Nope,
week.
there's only one a month.
Yep. Notice that we did have an executive session that started at 6:30 and it adjourned at 6:52. There were no motions made and no votes taken. All right. Next, we have no continued public hearings. We have no new public hearings. We have no old business. Moving right along here tonight, huh? And for new business, first we have on the agenda AAA 137 Ganny Terrace, authorized agent approval, request for a 20 by 24 shed, Matt Rowe, applicant owner, map 64, lot 10, R33 zone. How you doing?
Evening.
You just state your name and address for the record.
Matt Rowe, 7 Ganny Terrace, Enfield.
Okay, just, you want to tell us a little bit about what the project is and...
Yes, I'd like to build a 24 by 20 shed on the property. Fairly simple construction, slab on concrete, minor frost wall just for the foundation, and used for storage and woodworking projects, things like that, all private, no commercial use.
Okay.
So this is pretty straightforward. This just happens to be another resident whose house was built in 1957, 20 years prior to the Clean Water Act. And because of the way our regulations are written and the way the section is for agent approvals, I cannot approve activities within the wetlands layer, even if the wetlands are no longer functioning as they once were, which you'll see a couple of those tonight on the agenda. This is a simple application for a shed. There's not going to be any significant impacts to any of the wetlands nearby. No significant drainage impacts. We approve sheds on a daily basis through the building department, as long as there's no wetlands involved. And basically, there's 2 existing concrete pads adjacent to the shed location, which will be removed and replaced with grass, mulch, and gravel. And I had no department comments from any of the departments. Thank you.
All right, thank you. What, are you going to be storing chemicals or anything like that in there? No. Okay. Anything from my left? Any questions? No? Anything from my right?
No.
All right. So are we have to, this is a application, not,
It's a
Agent approval?
request for agent approval, so you have to make a motion to authorize.
so
the
we can
agent
do that?
approval.
Okay.
Yep.
All right,
So you could use the draft resolution on my report if needed.
super. All right, anybody like to make a motion?
Sure. I make a motion for agent approval for AAA number 130, 7 Ganey Terrace, authorized agent approval request for a 20 by 24 shed, Matt Rowe, applicant owner, map 64, lot 10, R33 zone.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Anything on the left?
No.
Anything on the right? Phil, anything? Nothing?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, you're on my right, just so you know. All right, roll call?
Kevin Zorda,
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson,
Yes.
Ann Collins,
Yes.
Nancy Martin,
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
6 in favor, no against, and the motion carries for agent approval.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.
Good luck with your project. And we'll move on to AAA number 13149 Roosevelt Boulevard. Also an authorized agent approval request for the installation of an above-ground pool. Nadia Serrano, owner applicant, map 61, lot 181, R33 zone. Good evening, how are you?
Good evening, how are you?
Just your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Nada Serrano and I live at 49 Roosevelt Boulevard.
Super. All right, and just tell us a little bit about the project.
I'm trying to install a 15 feet round pole on my property
Okay. Super.
and it's in above ground.
Okay. Georgie, you want to, anything?
So, like our previous application, this resident is here because their property was built in 1956, 20 or so years prior to the Clean Water Act of 1972. This is a existing subdivision built on a prehistoric wetland area that is most likely no longer functioning as a wetland once was. This should be a simple agent approval, as in general, if it wasn't in that wetland area you see on my diagram in the staff report, she would have been able, I would have been able to sign off on it if she pushed the pole out of the green layer, but that just didn't work for location-wise for her for what she wanted. So she decided to go through the process, and basically just an above-ground pool, which I can usually issue an agent approval for in the upland.
Super. Any questions on the left? Anything on the right?
No.
Phil, anything? No?
No, I'm good. I'm good. It's pretty straightforward, as staff mentioned. I think most of these sites, we don't have any functional wetlands, so.
Yeah, exactly.
They-
All right.
There's one more thing. I do just want to point out a typo on my staff report and agenda for Ms. Serrano's name. It says N-A-D-Y-A. It should be N-A-Y-D-A, just for the record,
okay.
for our recording secretary. Sorry.
All right, I'll make a motion to authorize agent approval for AAA number 131, 49 Roosevelt Boulevard, authorized agent approval request for the installation of an above-ground pool. Nadia Serrano, owner applicant, map 61, lot 118, R33 zone.
Second.
Second.
Just a correction, that's lot 181. Yep.
Lot 18, apologies.
Oh, it's, okay, so it's lot 18.
Lot 18.
Yep. All right. It's incorrect on our agenda, but
Okay.
it's correct on the report. Yeah.
Thank you.
Eventually, I start seeing numbers.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion to my left?
No.
Any to my right? All right, and roll call, please.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
6 in favor, the motion passes.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Good luck.
people. All right, we will move on to our regular permits. IW number 687, 281 George Washington Road. Application for a wetlands permit for the removal of an in-ground pool. Margaret and Sherwood Perry, applicants owners, map 64, lot 67, R44 zone. Good evening.
Margaret Perry, 281 Washington Road.
Super, thank you. All right, and tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
I'm removing a 16 by 32 in-ground pool, filling it in, making grass, making plantings. I don't
Excellent.
have to take care of it anymore.
Super. All right. Georgie, anything?
Okay, got distracted. So the property was built in 1958, and because the difference for this one being a permit versus the previous applications you heard for agent approval is this is the fill of a wetland area. This is similar to an application we received a few weeks ago for the removal of an in-ground pole.
Yep.
It's the same situation. They will be using sand from Powder Hill Sand Pit located in Ellington, Connecticut, and then the area will be seeded once construction has been completed. I have no department comments. And there should be little to no impact to stormwater runoff and little to no impacts nearby wetlands. In fact, it would be reducing impervious coverage on the property. And I do think it is important to note that the pool's sole resident was her dog.
Oh, okay. Super.
It's because that makes me happy.
Excellent. All right. Any other questions on the left here? Anybody on the right? Phil, anything?
So just a question, and this may be more for staff, because I don't remember on the other one. When sites like this are filled, like for a pool, is sand the best thing, or is it normally like a different type of soil that's used, or is it kind of irrelevant as long as the topsoil comes in?
So 9 times out of 10, it depends on whether or not they remove the galvanized sheet walls, and usually they're filled with sand and then topsoil and then seeded.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right.
I'll make a motion to approve IW 687, 281 George Washington Road, application for a wetland permit for the removal of an in-ground pool. Margaret and Sherwood Perry, applicant's owner, map 64, lot 67, R44 zone.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on my left? On my right? All right, roll call?
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
6 in favor, no against, and the motion passes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Next on the agenda is XIW number 688 Town Farm Road. Application for a wetlands permit for the expansion of the multi-use path along Town Farm Road. Town of Enfield applicant owners map 64, lot 67, R44 zone. Good evening.
Hey,
Just give your name and address for the permit.
Mark Foster. I live in Glastonbury.
Super.
Working as a consultant engineer for the town.
Okay.
Nancy Rolfe, we're both with AECom, working for the town.
Excellent. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about the project, what's going to be happening?
Yep, so we're extending the 10-foot bituminous trail from Abbey Road, intersection with Town Farm Road, all the way down to Broadbrook, the state route. It's going to go north on Broadbrook for a short stretch, and then we're going to cross at Fletcher Road.
Okay. And then it does have to pass, go over a couple of crossings, correct?
Correct. Yeah, so there was the town did the roadway project, I think it was in 2018, pushed the road as far south as they could and then extended those culverts to make room for the trail. So we're building the trail on, a bench that was already widened with the roadway. So we're staying out of the wetlands.
Excellent.
So this is a continuation of Enfield's Complete Streets package for a 2015 resolution of Town Council. This is just the near completion of the project after so long. It's a state-funded project. Basically, they're just, as I said, extending that recreational walking trail that you may see often on Town Farm Road at the intersection of Post Office and Raphael and Simon.
Yep.
And then it just kind of extends down. They did delineate wetlands with Fuss and O'Neill in 2016, and then again with ACOM. There's a couple of tributaries they'll be encountering. One's unnamed, the other drains to Buckhorn Brook, and then a perennial watercourse, one called Frog Brook, and another part of Buckhorn Brook. These watercourses will not be impacted by the project. And then the only note I have is from my department that says, basically just reiterating what the plans say, that easements and rights will have to be obtained prior to the project commencing, which of course isn't necessarily a wetlands issue. And then the end of the trail will complete at the Broadbrook Fletcher intersection.
Super.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice.
And I believe both of our assistant town engineer and our town engineer were working on this project for a couple of years now.
Yes.
Excellent. Yeah, I know the section that's already there does get a lot of use, so it's excellent.
I drive by it every day,
Yep.
and there's at least 10 people
Always.
walking on it in the
Yeah.
morning.
Bikes, dogs,
Dogs.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah. Super. Anything on the list?
Is it actually
Is that the? I don't.
No, this,
it doesn't
No,
really
it's
cross the Scannick.
Scannick's
Yeah.
further down.
This one's a lot more to the right of the Scantic. It's not close to the Scantic.
Correct.
Right.
You can see the Scantic River on my memo. The river is by JFK.
Yeah.
I do not know. I haven't gone that far.
It's not going to JFK.
No, it's not the. No, this portion doesn't. I mean, there's that other portion
Actually,
that's down there.
I believe that's already existing. If
Yeah,
you're talking about
that's
the
the
bridge.
existing part, yeah.
Yeah, the bridge is existing.
Yeah, that's already existing. We're not looking at that. We're looking at the new part. Any other questions, comments?
No.
Anything? Phil?
Yeah, so Kevin, just a quick question, and I guess this may have been answered, but just to clarify, so where it crosses the waterways, the roadway's already been expanded, correct? So there's no change to the culverts or the piping, this is really just paving the trail over the road that's already been widened, I guess is confirm my understanding?
Yeah, so on the two crossings along Town Farm Road, that's true. There's a existing culvert that runs under Broadbrook Roads, so the state route, that we are actually extending. So there's watercourse impact there, but there are no wetlands there. So it's on like the last sheet of the plan set that we gave you guys. So yeah, we're extending.
Okay, that's looking farthest to the right, correct?
Correct.
Like eastern side?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
That was the section that our soils engineer, scientist, went out and flagged and found no wetlands on the side where we're doing the culvert extension. The wetlands is on the other side, on the inlet side, not the outlet side.
Okay, and that culvert extension, then, it's just an extension of the original culvert, we're not changing the diameter?
Correct.
I mean, I'm assuming there'll be a slight change to flow rate, but nothing significant.
Correct, and we're actually putting in a scour hole at the outlet and cleaning out the pipe. But yeah, it'll be the same diameter, same style end wall. We're just pushing it out further to make room for the trail.
Super.
That there are hydraulics computations that were in the application. I believe you all have a copy of that,
Yeah.
too.
Okay, and yeah, and I saw those, and I just wanted to, I guess, clarify if it was just for that one crossing or.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that one.
All right, thank you.
Super. Any other discussion? Motion?
Make a motion to approve X is that an I? Sorry,
Yeah.
XIW, sorry, of course it is. Number 688, Town Farm Road, application for a wetlands permit for the expansion of the multi-use path along Town Farm Road. TOE applicants, owner, map 64, lot 67, R44 zone.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? To my left? To my right? Anything further, Phil? No?
Good, thank you.
All right, roll call.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
6 in favor, no opposed. The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, next we have IW number 689, 3 Palumba Drive. Application for a wetlands permit for an addition within the upland review area. Robert Thomas Realty, applicant owner, map 57, lot 320, BR zone. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Brian Deno from Deno Land Surveying, here to speak on behalf of Bob Adamczak, the applicant and owner. He could not be here tonight. He apologizes for that. What we'd like to do is, Infield Collision's been at this location since 1997. They've expanded and they've been storing car parts in truck trailers to the rear of the building. And they've been washing cars in one of the bays in the front of the building. What they would like to do is put on a 50 by 23 foot addition with one overhead door and an area to detail the cars that they repair, and also store parts. That the back, the 23 by 50, is just to wash or detail the cars and store parts, not any more work area besides that. That'll free up space in the front to repair more cars. Per the regulations, the planning regulations, we need to add green space in the back around the new addition. So our plan shows some green space around there, some landscaping per the town regulations. And during construction, I've shown some silt sacks on the catch basins. I have conflicting notes on my plan. One says to stockpile the material, but the intent is any material that's excavated is either going to be put in a container or taken off-site and not left there. And we have also shown an oil water separator for the detail area. Like right now, the water soapy water runs out into the parking lot, into the catch basins, and that's not right. It really should be treated and put into the sanitary sewer. So that's why we show adding an oil water separator for the detail area. We're not increasing the hard surface at all. We're actually narrowing one of the drives and making it one way. We're adding the 10-foot green space around the new addition and landscaping. We are moving an island. Per the regulations, we have to have a 24-foot aisle between the building and the parking. And that island is too close to the building, so it's got to be moved. And we're not moving it very far. We're still going to have the trees going to be saved and the light will be saved.
Super. Georgie?
So this is pretty straightforward. It would have been something I could have done as an agent approval, but because the addition is bigger than 800 square feet, which is my allowance in the regulations, I could not do an agent approval, hence why they're here for the permit. The site is already previously paved. The wetlands have previously been disturbed back from when the development was first constructed. This is basically just improvements to the site. They're adding more green space, reducing a little bit of that pervious coverage, and there should be no significant or detrimental impacts to the wetlands. There will be a little bit of disturbance in the upland review area for these improvements. And then I just had a site-specific that the final plans will show ENS controls on them, which the applicant has stated is on the plan, so you can ignore that part. And then just to include a cover sheet, a table of contents.
And we probably want to add that it'll be corrected with the
Street name.
street name and also
I've corrected that since then. And we still need to go, we have to get planning approval also.
Okay, the soil stockpiling, you want to correct that as
Yeah.
well?
That should be removed from the plans. And then our assistant engineer has not reviewed this yet, but it shouldn't implicate wetlands because he can also review it during planning and zoning as well.
Super. Any discussion on the left? Nothing? Nothing? Phil, any questions?
So the only question I have, and I didn't see anything in the package, is there any even historical, like wetland delineation that we have for this property, or are we strictly just going off the GIS for this application?
The wetlands I show on the plan are from the previous site plan approved for Tire Country, Town Fair Tire.
Town Fair Town, okay, and do you know what year that was, like?
If you give me just a second, I'll tell you.
And I do want to point out that it is pretty close to our town's GIS layer as well.
It's from 2013, when
so
Town
it's
Fair Tire.
Okay.
moved
Not that old. Yeah.
The only,
Awesome.
in. And it is pretty
That's all I
consistent
had.
with the town wetlands.
if anything, it just shows that the wetland locations are a little bit further off-site and that there's just more upland review area than our GIS does.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Super. Any other? Nothing? Motion? Yeah, so there's one on here. Street name will be corrected and soil stockpiling removed from the final plans.
Under site specific,
Oh, it is, okay. Yep.
so the stockpiling of soil will be removed. And you said street name?
That's already corrected, right? The street name is already corrected or no?
Yes, it's already corrected.
Just
Number one with the soil stockpiling removed from the plan.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve IW 689, 3 Palumba Drive, application for a wetland permit for an addition within the upland review area. Robert Thomas Realty, applicant owner, map 57, lot 320, BR zone. With the site-specific conditions, 1, final plans will show ENS controls on them and include a cover sheet with a table of contents, and 2, soil stockpile removed from the plan.
Second.
No. Daydreaming.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? To the left? To the right?
No.
Phil?
All set?
All right. Roll call?
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
6 in favor, no opposed. Sorry. 6 in favor, no opposed. Motion passes.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, just to confirm, it was seconded by Commissioner Martin?
I put Ginny.
Okay, Commissioner Higley.
I must say, this is the most efficient wetlands commission I've ever stood in front of.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope it's not your only one.
Wait a second. You better come back. No. All right. So now we have a first for me. I don't know about anybody else, but a permit transfer.
Yes.
IW number 5850 King Street, owner applicant DF Realty LLC to WE King Street LLC.
So this is new. Anybody can petition to transfer a permit. This one is being transferred from DF Realty to Win Stanley. Nothing is changing in regards to the project. It's just a simple name change. This is not expired because of the site plan state statute extension and then because of the COVID extension on top of that extension, which makes it expire in 2037. It took us a very, very, very long time to figure that out. So basically, they're just here for the name change.
Super. So it's because in Enfield, the permit goes to the property, but I guess we're just doing this to make everything easier.
Yeah, I guess
Essentially.
the owner just wants everything in their name going forward to resume responsibility of the permit and the developments. So I believe he'll be asking the same for the special permit too for planning and zoning.
Super. All right. Anybody want to make a motion?
I make a motion for a permit transfer, IW number 5850 King Street, owner applicant DF Realty LLC to WE King Street LLC.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? Anybody? No discussion. Roll call.
Kevin Zorda.
Yes.
Virginia Higley, yes. Robert Hendrickson.
Yes.
Ann Collins.
Yes.
Nancy Martin.
Yes.
Phil Kober.
Yes.
Motion carries. 6 in favor, motion carries. And I assume there's no enforcement report?
No enforcement report update.
And how about report of planning staff?
I have one thing to report. The 46th annual meeting of Kakiwik is coming up on November 11th. At the last meeting, I asked for those interested to send me an email. Please send me an email if you want to go. I have received no emails so far, and I want to make sure that I can get the PO out and get you registered if you want to attend.
Thank you.
What was the date on that again?
November 11th. So registration details aren't out yet, but I just want to be already ready for when it does come out.
Yeah, usually you have to pick your sessions that you want to go to,
Yeah.
and then,
Yep. Just shoot me an email, okay? That way I can remember to add everyone to the list.
Did you say that you sent an email?
No, I asked for the commissioners to send me an email if they were interested in attending.
Okay.
I just brought it up last meeting.
Okay, thank you. I missed that. Thank you.
Yep. and you
It's
can always,
usually a very good, I find that the legal update is always really good.
Yeah.
We actually, some of our very specific things that have come up in our sessions have actually been addressed in that. So it's actually been very, very helpful. Lots of good information there. All right. So new applications to be received. We have AAA number 132-1 Surrey Lane, authorized agent approval request for an addition in the upland review area.
Greg.
Yeah, Greg Boswell, applicant, Daniel and Kelly Burrill, and William and Pamela Phelan, owners, map 68, lot 74, R33 zone. And IW number 690-190 Cottage Road, application for a wetlands permit for the removal of trees within a regulated area. Linda and Ernest Ostapov, applicant owner, map 95, lot 23, R33 zone. And none others snuck in there, right?
No other applications were received. We do have one DPN that did not make it on the agenda because our agenda item was full. I didn't realize how fast our meeting would go. And it's just for the Parsons Farm Road owned by Jarmock Real Estate for the continuation of the irrigation project they went through in 2022, 21, around there.
Yep.
I think it was 22. So you'll see that application on October 17th, as well as these other ones.
All right, any miscellaneous?
So, Mr. Chair, just had 2 quick questions, I guess, and these may be interesting. I know a few meetings ago, we were talking about beginning to review the wetlands regulations. I kind of wanted to, I guess, check in and see if we have started that.
Yeah, Phil, just from the last meeting, they are understaffed right now, and they have a lot of stuff going on. So I think when they can staff up, that's probably something they can work on. They're really doing all they can to keep up with
So,
paperwork.
about that. There's at most times 3 of us in the office right now. We have some staff members out on medical. We have a temporary, which is also our recording secretary, so she has stepped up to the plate to take over until we can hire somebody else. So with everything going on in the office, and Sandy can attest to our chaotic days sometimes, we're a little bit behind schedule. But it is still in the works, and it still is on my to-do list, and I want to start by printing out the wetlands regs from neighboring towns that have a lot of wetlands in their area, and then I want to print out the state model regs to see where Enfield's regs differ and what was changed. And then maybe we could also add that amendment about residential properties that were built in historic subdivisions prior to the Clean Water Act, because then that just saves staff time and resources, because we're
Absolutely.
reviewing applications for sheds and pools, and it's just not the best allocation of resources.
Absolutely.
So I could be
agree.
working on the wetlands pamphlet or the regs, but I've got some other stuff to do. So it is on the to-do list, and hopefully we'll see that on our agenda soon.
Super. Yeah.
All right, thank you. And the only other question I had, and I guess it would have been better under item 13, but I think when we were talking about the minutes, you had mentioned that you thought the CEO did get an update about Yankee Magcast things, but then I know you didn't say anything. So was there an update on that property or no?
Not yet, no. There's still a pending discussion between finding records and verifying what the current status is with the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection.
Okay.
And once we get info on that, you'll be notified immediately.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Any other miscellaneous?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
At 7.
I
7:36.
Nice job, Kevin.
Yes.